50.
Yeah.
Welcome to CRT Cold Hard Trash, episode 50, the Big 5-0. I'm your host, Trashcan Jones.
And I'm Breeeg, your fellow host.
And it's a weird thing we were just talking about right before we got recording. The amount you have to actually project to talk in a little bit of a podcast, because you don't really I don't know, at least I don't talk to people in the conversation back to back unless it's a one-on-one kind of private. It's not a hushed tone, but it's more quieted, whereas I feel you have to project a little bit more. Make sure the mic picks up whatever you're saying clearly. So you have to project a little bit more in this, a closer setting than you're really used to. It's different. Feels different.
Yeah, I also think, I guess, I don't know, the dynamic range of a mic is smaller than the human ear. Because you get to the point where you get so loud that the signal starts clipping.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's smaller because, as a human you could hear something quieter and hear something louder without, losing any information.
Right.
I mean, you could probably get a microphone that does, have a high dynamic range specifically for that, but...
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. Interesting.
Vocal mics, nah. The job is on us.
That's our mics. We got the best microphones right here in our ears. Right to our brain.
Yeah.
Is that how that works? That would be the analogy, right?
I guess, yeah.
Our ears are technically our microphones, and the mouth would be the speaker.
Yeah, that one's a bit more obvious.
So yeah, it's weird to think about, though. Your ears would be a microphone, technically, for your brain.
Yeah.
They're the ones receiving the sound like a microphone would. People just don't talk into them like a microphone. It'd probably hurt.
I mean, you can.
Probably, like I said, probably hurt.
Yeah. I mean, you know how as you get older, certain... you can't hear certain frequencies?
Yeah, the whatever age test they do, the mosquito frequencies.
Mm-hmm. You got the three different parts in your ear. It's the timbus, the malleus, and one other thing.
Santa Maria?
Yeah. And they're basically for different ranges of frequencies that you pick up. And I'm assuming that it's just that the finer hairs for picking up the frequencies are the ones that degrade the quickest, and therefore the highest frequency sounds are the ones that you lose first.
Makes sense. Weird how our body not really chooses to degrade in specific ways, but is kind of almost built to degrade in specific ways, to where it's built with levels of things to where like you said, we have the thinner ones that can pick up those things to the ones that go first.
Yeah,
strange
because they're small.
Yeah, but why aren't all of our ear things just the same size? Why do we have small ones and big ones?
Oh, that's because they need to be smaller to pick up the smaller frequencies.
Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. They didn't nobody specifically designed our ears to degrade in specific regions first. It's just by the nature of the high frequencies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess it all just kind of naturally works together.
And also, the inner ear is responsible for you having your knowing what orientation you're in and all that
Yeah, it's
stuff.
your balance and stuff, right? I heard it's a thing when you get older, that fluid in there can kind of get hard and calcify if you don't really work it to balance.
It's actually two separate senses. One is just generally trying to figure out the orientation that you're in, and two is feeling the movement of your head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
feeling that your head is moving.
That's one sense, and knowing that your head is up or down or whatever is a different one.
Interesting. That probably gets messed up a lot with astronauts being all in zero G. They have no idea what direction they actually are.
Probably.
The fluid is just kind of suspended. Nothing's being able to put it down.
Well, the rotation one would still be fine.
What do you mean the rotation? Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You're being able to see would it? Eventually if there's zero G, I don't know how it affects your body that way. Would eventually you start to lose even that?
Well, if you turn your head, it exerts a force on the liquid in there. And that's what you're feeling in the first place.
Yeah, I suppose.
Up and down though, who knows what the fuck that is? Never heard of it.
Ain't never heard of it. Always ups and downs. You know why they call the whole thing spaghetti westerns?
The music.
No.
I thought it was it's a western movie, but they use this orchestral.
No, it's because most of or at least from what I've heard, I guess I haven't really looked into this beyond just Googling it. Oh yeah, the AI answer and whatever. It's because a lot of those were filmed in Italy back in the day. The Italian, I guess, not really deserts of Italy, but they have parts of it that are just real old-timey and can work for the Western setting.
I don't know if I believe that. The big thing about Hollywood and why it's where it is that that whole sort of region in the U.S. is one of the best ones for preserving film of that era. So the film itself that you'd be recording on in the nice, dry climate would experience much less degradation than like other regions. And so that's why you do things there. Even though you can film in like other locations, like it's Hollywood, they were pumping that shit out. They had a name for film there. Yeah. Because it's what they did.
And I guess because it was so popular to film there, it literally says it was a lot cheaper to film over in Europe, and that's what became the spaghetti western.
Really? That's so surprising to me.
Yeah, when low-budget film produced by Italian directors. Or I guess, yeah, it was Italian directors. I guess not in Italy.
That's a huge difference.
No, wait. It's circumstances and location, so it's both. It's Italian directors who want to film in Italy and then bring the film to America.
That's insane to me.
I don't know, unless I'm reading, it's kind of worded
weird. That is like
an
article,
AI.
Right?
I don't know. It could be an article quote, or it could... No, it's not the AI. It is the article quote. So I don't know. It could just be a weirdly worded thing.
Primarily in Almeria and the Tabernas Desert. I mean, that would be a reasonable place, right? A desert.
Right.
Son of a bitch. I thought it was just the music this whole damn time.
Yeah. I could have sworn it says person and director, so I was like, maybe I was wrong on that, but no, it's just worded kind of fumbly, but it's, in the deserts of, I guess, is there a desert in Italy? Not a famous one, but...
It just says in Europe.
I guess, it was Italian directors, and then maybe just somewhere where there's a desert in Europe, so...
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy. I swore it had to do with the scoring of it. You
think just like stringed instruments? They were thinking, but string pasta?
No, like it just
is Italian
European
music? Oh, I don't know. An orchestra was specifically like Italian.
No, there's a greater history of these things. Like
I know opera can be like not really attributed to Italian, but is famous in Italian. There's a lot of famous Italian ones.
I guess the more you know.
Yeah.
I also heard that Western films are most closely related to what is it? Samurai stories. There's like a real name for that though.
Oh, like
Ronin.
Yeah, like
the lone wanderer going
lost his father and all that. Yeah, I think that's like a trope, common trope.
Yeah, it's sort of the continuation of that type of story.
That's part of the larger reason I wanted to talk about that is because I feel like we're due for more like spaghetti western style movies. Because I feel like we just have John Wick, just make him a cowboy, bam. And you get a period piece along with the John Wick movie. You get Cowboy, and he gets to go do Red Dead Redemption in real life. Just pew, 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 walk into a saloon, shoot 3 guys. Cool shit. People would want to see it.
They already made Rango.
Not the Johnny Depp one. Quentin Tarantino doesn't have to be the only one that can make those movies. It seems like he has been the only one banging them out. And he's been doing a good job. I don't want to knock him or anything, but make some more. It's that you can make a 6 out of 10 cowboy movie, and people will still flood to see it just because cowboys are sick.
Yeah. Well, maybe you need to open with a couple more big ones to get the interest back there, and then it's like, okay, cool.
I think the interest is already there. You had Django Unchained. You had, what was it, The Hateful Eight? Cool as fuck.
I don't know nothing about The Hateful Eight, but...
It was less more of a cowboy movie, more like just drama, period piece kind of deal. It had some cool action scenes, but it wasn't really like Django Unchained where people were flying through the air like everything.
Yeah, well, even then, I don't even know if... it fits most of the bill, but I just don't really think they're cowboys for the most part.
In Hateful Eight?
In Django.
I'm 100%. What are you talking about? They're like, putting on a cowboy... I don't know if they're putting on a cowboy hat, but they're putting on hats,
Southerner
horses.
Stuff, right? It's not the Southwest.
It's bounty hunting, and you're riding horses and shooting things. It's cowboy stuff. Anybody who says Django Unchained...
It's close. It's just, I don't know, like, how... It's not Southwest. It's kind of my only thing.
What? It's the South. Texas counts as like the Southwest.
Oh, was it in Texas?
I have no idea. Where was Django Unchained, actually?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have been like Missouri or some shit. Who knows?
Yeah, but I also think cowboy movies never really dealt too much with slavery.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Now that I even think about it, like Red Dead Redemption takes place like kind of right after that point.
I mean, like obviously it was
That's
like,
the first
going on
cowboy.
during
That's
the time. But,
probably that's what makes it cool. Then he's like the first cowboy, kind of like the what's called the Black Samurai, which is a cool story, not in real life, but the one that they made. The adults, is it the Adult Swim one, Afro Samurai? It's a really sweet movie. I can't remember the name. If it's Afro Samurai or Black Samurai.
I don't know. I know there's Samurai Champloo that was on Adult Swim with Cowboy Bebop.
Afro
Same guy.
Samurai. It was Afro Samurai. Cool shit.
That's cool.
Saw it on Toonami back in the day. I'm still addicted to peanut M&Ms, by the way. I just need like a Home Depot bucket, like just full of them that I can carry around.
You think you can kick that in 2 weeks? Nah. You need to be put in a facility.
I can't not stop eating them. They're just so fucking good. I don't know what it is about it. It's just peanuts and like the candy chocolate, and I can just have a mouthful of them and just keep chewing, and then I want another mouthful right as soon as they're gone. I just need them.
Yeah, I haven't bought more candy recently. I had those gummy sharks. I still have those strawberry things.
Oh yeah, like at the gummy center.
Yeah, but like, they're individually wrapped. That's a nice thing to help with portion control.
Sure.
You're just going to keep on unwrapping them. I mean, you can. Nothing's really stopping you. But
then you get a huge mess.
It gives you an idea of how much of it you're supposed to be eating.
Right.
Like a family pack of something also gives you an idea of how much you're supposed to be eating.
It still goes away, though. Especially if it's a family pack of M&Ms.
Well,
just like the bag open, then it's just
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Pour out.
Is that, but when they sell it in that big of a thing, you're inclined to finish the whole thing.
If they individually wrapped a peanut M&M, that would be so wasteful. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. Like
Hershey's Kisses.
Yeah, it's just as much as it is portion control for those candies, it's just wasteful. It's so much plastic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hershey's Kisses, that's foil, which I guess you could recycle, but
I don't think anybody is. Plus, it's such a minute amount. You need to like recycle a whole couple family-sized bags to even get a scrappable amount of aluminum, I'll bet. Or whatever, tin. It is actually is tin foil.
I feel like some of these candies come in like paper.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If I do get a Home Depot bucket, like what would I have to line it with? Because I've seen like the tubs, like especially at movie theater things, they'll have like sometimes a paper lining inside the box, which I assume is for freshness of some kind. What is that? Is that like a wax paper? Is it like a parchment paper type? What am I going to have to line this Home Depot bucket with?
Just make sure it's clean.
Yeah.
It's not like a gas tank or anything.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to drink beer out of a gas tank, but it's like, if really, can I just throw them in there and they're not going to they're probably just going to melt to the plastic, so I need something like to get that barrier at least, right?
No, just keep it in the fridge and take up a quarter of the space.
I want to carry this around with me too. Okay, so here we go. I got to make, first of all, the bottom layer is going to be a cooler, because I got to make sure they keep cool. I can't have them melting. Then we get the wax paper, parchment paper, whatever it is, compartment above it. And that gets filled with the M&Ms, and they stay cool. Because a nice cool M&M, you can suck on it for a bit and then crunch down the chocolate and peanut. That's not bad. I like that.
I told you
I got this invention in mind.
When I was a kid, I did an audition for an M&M's kid.
Really? I don't think you ever told me that.
A lot of people, I guess my family sort of ended up thinking it was a scam after the fact. But,
oh, shit.
Basically, yeah, they brought us to like this like hotel place, and there's a bunch of parents and kids and like one of the conference or like event spaces, and like we took turns going up and being like, M&M's melts in your mouth, not your hand. Which one? Bullshit. Yes, it does melt in your hand. That's kind of the entire thing you were on about.
Right.
And two, they didn't call me back. I was like second grade at the time.
Unfortunate. I auditioned for Real Steel, that robot boxing movie with Hugh Jackman. They had an open call for kids in Chicago, but yeah, never got a call back for that.
No. Yeah. I almost went to the open call for Fraternity Guys when I was in a fraternity.
What's Fraternity Guys? Is that a movie?
No, like just some random like TV show. Like they didn't. I don't remember what it was for explicitly.
Oh, they just wanted you as an extra.
I think it was a crime show.
Oh, okay.
Just needing like guys in college.
Bros in the background, yeah. Slapping a solo cup together or whatever.
But yeah, didn't go. Oh well. It ended up working on film sets anyways, but
nice.
Near them. But
yeah, I remember Shameless while we were in college was looking for homeless people, or to be like homeless extras, and I was like, ooh, I could probably go and audition for that. That'd be a good pick up some bucks.
A lot of the inside shots of Shameless were actually done in California.
That makes sense. That's what I assume a lot of things do. Same with like Always Sunny. Even though it's in Philadelphia, it's like only a lot of the establishing shots that they need to do are probably done in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and they probably have the set for their place in California.
Yeah.
In Shameless, they used an actual house in Chicago, and so they needed to do that on site. But
even like the actual like inside shots, or just they have the establishing shot.
The house is an actual Chicago house.
Right, but I mean, like, did they do all like the scenes outside the house, obviously in Chicago, and all the establishing outside Chicago? When they're filming inside the house, for like even for all that, it's in Chicago.
The main
like,
house,
inside the house.
The main house, I'm pretty sure, is in Chicago. Any other buildings, I have no, answers for that. But the primary one, I'm pretty sure that's in Chicago. Like, I know about the whole establishing shot thing. The inside too.
Right, but they didn't film actually in the house. They had sets of what would be in the house that they filmed, right?
I think the main house is the one where they were in that house.
Oh, damn.
Any other building, can't say anything about it, but I'm pretty sure that main one is actually inside of a house in Chicago.
Pretty sweet.
Also, not really on the south side.
Yeah, don't they say it's like back of the yards? Is it actually in that area?
I'm not too sure, but it's like, I think it was like just slightly west of the loop or something like that.
Oh, I thought that was the whole thing. I've only seen like the first season. They say it's like literally they live in the back of the yards, like the very specific part of. Mm-hmm. So if it's not right in that part, then that's kind of what the fuck.
It's been a while for me, but I do remember looking it up, and the address was not the same, but
yeah,
obviously. But it wasn't the same like neighborhood or anything like that either.
Probably makes sense. They probably just chose a house that was somewhat convenient to get like filming. I don't know if it's like filming rights or like filming location, if it was easy to block off or what. It just was probably some convenience for that house. There had to be a reason,
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess Chicago's got a couple of pretty cool film houses. They got Shameless house. They got Home Alone house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I've driven past it before. Well, actually, I was driven past it when I was a child, and a family member pointed it out to me and said, this is worth $1 million now, and it's supposedly owned by the mob. I said, cool.
We also
maybe I could get it someday.
We got Al Capone's house, his final house, his grave. Isn't he buried here? Or did he get moved? I know he was initially buried and then got moved somewhere. He used to run to where his grave was in cross country.
There was a spot by a house of Al Capone's that I would go to whenever I needed to get to the train station to get out of Waukegan. It's like right there, like maybe 4 or 5 blocks north. And then there's also a Rockefeller Library there, or maybe not Rockefeller, some president or very important person in history. Damn, this is something I really should know. Roosevelt Library? I
don't know nothing about no libraries. Think I'm a book reading sort? Got me pegged wrong, buddy.
I'm just gonna look this.
More of the sort of a Flavor of Love watching. Got hooked on that because Mrs. Trash has been trying to. She watches it a whole lot. She used to anyway. Now she just watches clips. Have you ever seen that? Flavor of Love?
I've not seen Flavor of Love.
You know what it is?
No.
It is.
Sounds like a cooking show.
It is Flava Flav's reality dating show.
Oh, man.
This is where many women come to compete for the opportunity to be Flava Flav's #1 girl. And, dude, it is the craziest shit. You'd think Flava Flav was the craziest thing that you've ever seen.
When was this from?
The mid-2000s, I want to say. Like 2000, I don't know the exact years. Like probably 5 to 2011, I want to say.
Still pretty old by that point.
He was an old dude, yeah. And that's part of the reason, because like they always have to like have the girls like meet the girls' parents. Flava Flav does, and that's always the thing that one of the girls' parents bring up is he's old. And this girl's like 18. Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
There's one though where they have just I wouldn't even call it like I guess it's a regular challenge, but he's like, all right, you got to cook dinner because my mom's going to be coming over, Flava Flav's mom. And they have this whole thing like, all right, you cook a roast chicken and whatever else you want from it. One of the girls just takes a raw chicken, puts it in the microwave for like 20 minutes, and then tries to serve it to him. And everybody just like can't help but like fall over. Like, what are you, how are you a person? How have you gotten this far? Like, when you think Flava Flav, like, oh, this is going to be wacky, all the stuff he's going to do to these women, like, they find some of the craziest people, like, you don't even know.
So, I mean, like, I think... So, I remember this from an episode of Futurama where they get sent back in time, and there's a guy selling a microwave, and they need the microwave to, go forward in time again.
Right.
And the guy's pitching it, and he's like, you can cook a whole Thanksgiving turkey in 5 hours. And it's like, I didn't know you could do that.
Can you cook a turkey in a
I'm
microwave?
pretty sure you can. It's probably just not very good, but
5 hours.
Big microwave
microwaved.
Too.
Oh my God, what would that taste like? Oh,
cardboard.
It probably just cardboard with like mashed potatoes on the inside. Not great.
You know how a microwave works, though, right?
Isn't it just like it zaps the water or whatever that's in there?
The wave is the resonant frequency of water.
So it doesn't even like technically cook the food. It just cooks the water that's in there.
Well, it heats up the water, and then the heat transfers into the food. I don't think I've ever cooked with a microwave.
Right, and I've only reheated. I don't think I've ever actually tried to actually. That's what I was kind of get at. Like, microwave is not for cooking. I guess it can be, though.
Yeah.
Maybe, again, that one Futurama joke, if it's true. There's another one where they're just doing, like, I don't even know if it's a rose ceremony or what do they do, like The Bachelor, where he's doing, like, his, all right, I'm going to choose which one of you can stay. Where one of the girls you see just, like duck down and then walk off. And then it just cuts to a talking head of Flavor Flav. He's like, and then I knew I smelled something. I think somebody took a shit on the floor. And then everybody's running around like, who took this shit on the floor? Who took this shit? And then one girl is refusing to come out of a room like, I don't know who took that shit, but it wasn't me.
Well, I mean, it's that, like...
it's just... I'm like,
way to give it away.
Real. These can't be real people who just like... I can't with this show. Even just watching clips of it, I'm like, this can't be real. That was on TV.
What was the bathroom out of order?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just
a statement.
Maybe
get me out of this damn place.
They were just like filming for too long or whatever. I don't.
Oh no, that made a lot of sense.
She just and then drops it and then just leaves and is like, I don't know who did that. Wasn't me.
But they had it on camera, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Producers probably just wanted them like, hey, no, we're not going to tell you. We know.
We know.
Yeah.
We just
figure it out. Have fun.
It's up to Flav at this point. If he still wants to proceed, I guess that's on him.
So I'm assuming she got voted out.
I didn't watch the rest of that episode. That's one of the ones I've only seen the clips of. That's why I started watching full episodes of it here and there. It's crazy. Oh my God. Have you ever seen, speaking of crazy shows, have I told you about the show Solitary?
No.
That was another reality show based around solitary confinement, where people would willingly enter this like octagon pod, and they would have like a little bed that rolls out of the wall that they could sleep in during at night. And
you might have told me about this.
There's like this GLaDOS-esque like robot voice that basically resides over them and gives them their daily like reality show challenges. And they go from like, you know, pretty gross things, like everybody gets a gross cocktail mixer, so like whoever's in pod number 1, like you can make whatever you want, everybody else has to drink it, like milk, soy sauce, hot sauce, and whatever, and whoever can't drink it, they're out. And then by the end of it, it's like, all right, you have 9 chains that are across like these poles. You have to lay on them for 10 minutes. After that, you get up, remove one chain, and continue to lay. The last person who can't take it loses. It's just like these people just laying for hours, torturing themselves, screaming, and like it's some of the hardest to watch TV you could ever see.
It's not even like, you know, an accomplishment of like physical strength. They're like, you know,
just get tortured. Like,
like
who can withstand torture?
Factor.
It's so crazy.
Fear Factor is like eat scorpions.
And you'll see them like just do the what's it called, where they just have the long exposure shots that are just sped up, and they're literally just like laying in the chains, just like not moving, like shaking. It's so hard to watch. You're like, what is this worth? It's like a $20,000 grand prize. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah,
this is crazy.
I mean, that's something that people have noticed is the difference between like American reality TV shows and like British ones, where British ones is just like, oh yeah, you know, I'm an engineer. I came out here to bake because I think I'm okay at it. You know, hopefully I'll win. And then American ones are like, yeah, like half my family is incredibly sick. If I don't win this money, they're going to die. I need this, and I will do whatever it takes.
That is a sad
lay me
reality.
on the chains.
That is a sad reality. That's a whole a horror movie too about that whole premise. I think it was Would You Rather. John Cleese was in it. He like brings everybody who very much would need the money into his horror mansion and is like, all right, you all have to do these terrible tasks and like hold an M80 in your hand and shit like that.
6 people locked in a mansion for a couple of days.
I
Find out that one of them's a murderer.
Oh no, the who done it.
Yeah.
It's funny, they're locked in there for basically the night, but you could just basically make it a week. You just
as long as you don't leave.
I just wish, the only thing I have at Irk with that quest is I wish that they didn't know immediately that somebody was dead. I wish that they had to
quest
wait.
in Oblivion, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. We're
one of the best quests in the entire game.
We're mentioning a quest in Oblivion where it's basically like a murder mystery, but you're hired as the murderer in the murder mystery, and it's pretty cool. But I wish, like, every time you kill somebody, you just basically, even if nobody has seen it, you've done it in complete secrecy. You go out and talk to someone, and they'll know somebody's dead. And it's just kind of like, I wish I could just make it all be secret and make it like everybody's all nonchalant. Like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen this person in a while, but I guess maybe I'll go check on them or something like that. And then that's when you get him. And then the last guy is like, ooh, I found some ale in the basement. Maybe I can go sneak it. And then he walks down and finds a pile of bodies instead. Ooh, stab. Perfect ending.
It's one of those things where, like, yes, I do think that would be more immersive and better and an expectation I would have out of a game from today.
It's still a really cool game.
In 2005, a lot of the fun of Oblivion is kind of the charm of how stupid and fucked up some of these things are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you stab someone to death in the room with somebody else sleeping, right? You walk around the bed and you talk to the person and wake them up, and they just look at you and like, oh, did you hear? Someone was murdered in here.
Someone was murdered.
And then you end the conversation, and then she goes back into bed, right there, in the room with the dead body.
My favorite is stabbing someone, closing the door, turning around. Best not go wandering alone. There's a murderer about. He just turns around and walks away alone. You're like, yeah, he shouldn't. Yeah, that was a really great quest. I'm still loving Oblivion. I might have to start playing a little bit of Last of Us during the week, just because that's another game that I'm liking a lot and is going to be a whole like heap. If I start only play that like once a weekend, then maybe it's going to take a lot longer than I think. So maybe I'll play like Last of Us on the Tuesday, Thursday, and just do Oblivion Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, well, you are in the last arc of at least those two quests, the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild.
Oh, cool. I also want to do the Fighters Guild, potentially.
The Fighters Guild is like, I don't think that's breaking your character's thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I need money.
Right.
They pay me to kill things and fight people.
I'm just gonna go do my thing, get my $1.
It also has their own fun thing to reveal throughout the story of it.
Oh.
If you don't want to do the Mages Guild for it, the thing, you know, fair enough.
I'm gonna rob and kill everybody in the Mages Guild. They're not gonna be alive anymore.
You can join
Nerds.
the Mages Guild and then kill someone, and then they'll excommunicate you, and you gotta go pick flowers for 20 minutes, and then they let you back in.
What the nerds? That's absolute ridiculousness. No, they're all going down.
Well, I mean, they're rare alchemy ingredients, and you got to go to like a pretty unpopulated section of the map to go get them. But
which one of them are going to be unconscious? That's all I need to know, because I'll just not worry about them. Also, it's really, really funny. So, the Boots of Spring-Heel Jack, right? I did that whole quest and got the famous boots of that guy who, spoiler alert, is not actually buried. Turns out he's a vampire and been alive this whole time. It's that guy I accidentally killed like 2 days ago, and he got knocked unconscious. And I was really upset by that. But like, oh, I guess you're going to be important for some quest or whatever. Go well. Just walked away. The important thing he was to get killed later.
I mean, yeah.
So
you wouldn't
dumb.
have been able to do the quest if you went in there and like... I mean, I guess you probably would have yoinked his key off of him.
I should have just completed, like, if I found the Boots of Spring-Heel Jack on him and then gone to the Gray Fox, like, I need these boots. What are those in your inventory right now? what are you wearing right now?
Look at that. Can I have them? Please?
Literally, it's just like, why couldn't I have done that? That's, I feel like, one of the things that should be fixed in the modding. I feel like a Fallout New Vegas would have done that, where I could have just found this very important quest item, but had no idea what it was for. Just be like, neat, sell it.
Please get a reshader.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to look into
the
Oblivion
greenest bloomiest motherfucker out there. And that'll get you closer to the original.
Yeah, because the original, looking at the screenshots of it especially, it just looks like it was drawn with like markers. It's just like green, red, just like very like RGB values to 100 and nothing else.
You see a high elf, like if a high elf is looking at you, the sheen coming off their face like makes some of their hair disappear with all the bloom. Like it's just, you can't see it. Their eyes are nearly missing, the eyebrows like hard to see.
That's a little unrealistic, and the realism that they have put into this game also makes it just a little too realistic. Everything's just too dark and gloomy. I feel like it's just a rainy day every day. Mm-hmm. Just everything's so cloudy. I want the brightness. It would be really funny to add a mod into it if it was just like a extra pair of glasses, like a hat you could wear. Those literally just like the rose-colored glasses that made it look like old Oblivion.
They have that in Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, you can get sunglasses that just tint the screen, yeah.
Yeah, which is fun.
I was talking about like if you know have you ever played the Master Chief Collection?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, where it's just on a button.
Graphics. If you can just get glasses that literally just make it look like whoa, old Oblivion, just put it on.
I take those off.
Right, just oh god.
Even then, like most of the characters are still pretty ugly.
Yeah, no, it's on purpose though. You can literally make like an ugly character in your character creation. I feel like they knew, like they want to be able to make monsters. Because I'm pretty sure it's a thing. I don't know how exactly it's coded, but I would imagine when you're like randomizing a face, it's just like, all right, set slider randomize 0 to 100. So you set like, you know, whatever the slider 100 range is all the way over there, just to be like, because if it goes all the way over there, oh well. Someone's going to have a wonky big mouth or a wonky big nose. But
I mean, honestly, what you can do in the character creation is much crazier than anything that like you run into. But I think they like have presets or like just sort of mid-range things that they mess with.
I imagine they probably changed the character. Actually, I don't know. Did they change the character creation to be a little crazier this time around?
No.
No? Okay. They would have had access to that same character creation making the old NPCs, but then still just left it a little less.
If you want to make another character, before you do that, I'd highly recommend getting a mod to break the sliders. Ooh. So you can take the ranges out even further. A lot of people have made very good stuff.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. It'd be like a Monster Factory episode.
They did a Monster Factory episode in Oblivion.
Nice.
And they made a guy that would look like had a big plate face and was like the moon or something like that.
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice.
So, competitive gaming news.
Got some VGC news?
No. This is Marvel Rivals. Now, I haven't really picked it up since, I don't know, months. But in this next coming season, they have this thing called a Chrono Shield. Mm-hmm. I've also seen this in Overwatch as well. It's like a rank protection thing, right? So like the first time in a while, like you're about to lose a whole rank, it'll be like, okay, that one game like will just bring you like to the bottom of it,
right?
Put you at like 0% rank progress. If you lose another one, you lose this rank. If you win this one, you get to keep it. Which I'm not really sure how much of a difference it makes, other than just aesthetic. But either way. Rivals is the Chrono Shield, right?
Sure.
And that would mainly affect you like up until like maybe platinum ranking or something, where after winning so many games, you'd get like a Chrono Shield or something like that to keep you from deranking.
Right.
They're selling them now.
Like for money?
Yeah. You can get 20 per season for real world money to not have your rank go down when you lose.
So you could just buy out of losing. Essentially, buy out of all the bad parts of losing, or the worst part of losing. What would be
20 times per season? And I don't really and it's not personally care. I don't play it, but it just sort of feels strange if you're trying to stay competitive.
To be fair, it's not every time you lose, because I think about it right away, and it goes to the CS version of it. Because I was just watching a video on CS and its whole ranking system, to where you have to win basically your second game in a row. I forget what they call it exactly. Once you get to like 4999, you need to win your 4999 game and then a game after that in order to progress to 5000. So you have to win 2 in a row. And you know, it's with a game like CS, you can have a string of good games, but if you just get terrible teammates or another one's on a cheater on your other team, even if you were doing really good, you're not going to rank up on that game. And it's not your fault or whatever. So it would be nice to have protection in that regard against that if something like that were to happen in Rivals, if it's that sort of similar system. So I can give them a little bit of a bone like that, but it's to make people pay for it.
That's also my line, right? If like everyone gets so many per season, that's fine.
Why not just let them earn it like that? If you want to make like an in-game currency, why are you going to make people pay for it?
It's like a thing where I think you can get like 5 in the season.
In the season pass? Okay.
And then
pay
like
for the rest?
15 can be paid for.
So it's like the regular. And is there a maximum you can pay for, or is you can just buy as many
20
as you
per
want?
season or something like that.
So you can only buy 20 per season, or you can buy in groups of 20 per season?
There's a limit. It's
okay. All right, then I'm not too mad at this then, because it's
pay to not lose. It's not pay to win.
Right, but it's not like you don't pay to every time you lose, you don't lose. It's only in those rank up matches, which can be like, all right, this is something that's specific.
Well, it's preventing deranking, not helping you rank up.
Right, exactly. And like I was saying, I don't know what the cheaters situation or whatever the situation is at all in Marvel Rivals, but when you get to a match where you need to rank up and then something out of your control happens, like maybe one of your teammates DCs, one of the other teammates you suspect is cheating, or you have got really terrible matching where the other three people on the other team are way higher ranked than you and you feel it's unfair, maybe that would ease your fear of like, oh, well, I don't deserve this D rank you might have felt when you lose that game. And now, you don't have to D rank. So I guess it's cool. It sucks if they offer the chance to pay for it, but if people want to pay for it, I guess, if you're really that bad at the game, you keep losing your D rank matches, shit.
Yeah. Well, the main complaints that I've seen about the game from like streamers and stuff is that it makes it a little bit easy for like scrubs to get into the high ranks, because if you just keep on playing, you end up getting more SR than you lose.
Well, yeah, I think it just opens up more people into the high ranks, period. That's the kind of thing.
Well, this is before the Chrono Shield thing, and the Chrono Shield thing might accentuate that issue.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So who knows? I don't play it. It's just funny to see the competitive game be like, hey, pay me and you didn't really lose.
You didn't lose, actually. Beep, beep, beep.
What a thing to sell.
Well, next up, they're just going to come with the win button. 20 times per season, you could just, you know what? I don't really feel like playing this game. Win. I win this one. You guys all lose. You guys have to, but you're not going to really lose. If you guys all use your fake loses, then you don't actually lose, and then everybody wins.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
And it gives the company like $40.
Everybody just shows up to their computer. Everybody pays $10. Everybody wins, and then everybody goes home.
Yeah. Honestly, just don't even play the game, right? Just give them $10.
Well, you still got to boot up Marvel Rivals. Yeah. You don't. The game you don't own. You only are renting right now the license to, and then you boot that up, and then you pay the game the $10 again, and then you can win.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, you just start the match and end it. Easy peasy.
Easy, yeah.
You just shake hands.
Yeah, that should be the next update. Easiest. Just a handshaking simulator. Pick your superhero and then just.
But I guess
shit joke.
VGC things. You remember Ho-Oh?
Yeah, of course.
He's gaining a lot of popularity in the current Regulation I.
Any particular reason?
He's
old legendary.
Really bulky, has the ability Regenerator, so when you swap him out, he gains 33% of his health back. He's a pretty cool guy. He has wide guard. Doesn't do a lot on his own, but in Reg I, now he's a...
You said Ho-Oh was bulky. That's what it made me think of.
He is. That's a good picture. That's a good example.
Little chubby plushie of him. I love it.
But yeah, gaining a lot of popularity, and that's really neat, because it's the exact thing I was talking about before, where it's like, well, certain ones aren't really in the meta because they can't, like, carry a team by themselves, but they're still really good. They just can't beat, like, the 3 best guys alone.
Right.
But then you pair it up with someone else that can kind of deal with that, and then you have a really good supporter, better than any other supporter. Maybe not any other supporter. Different jobs.
Right.
Best at its job.
Damn. Wow, it's weird that like they reach back to like specifically that Ho-Oh is the one to fit that specific deal though. It's just its IVs and its everything makes it perfectly tailored to be.
Well, it would be base stats, not IVs, but
oh, sorry, I'm not up to the. I don't know.
Okay. It mainly is a fire type, so it resists. It resists fairy. It's a flying type, so it's immune to ground, and like fairy and ground are some of the best offensive types in the game.
But I've always thought that the legendary birds were kind of ass because of their double weaknesses. So isn't it like weakness to electric and also water, like super effect?
No,
Fire
flying is fire flying. Yeah, you'd be one time weak to water, one time weak to electric.
No.
Because the fire isn't weak to electric, and flying isn't weak to water.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're right.
And you get the immunity to ground.
Yeah. Okay.
You're 4 times weak to rock. Is the big thing.
Ah. Okay.
That's
I don't know
legit
why.
the one big thing. But in doubles, you don't really use stealth rock, and stealth rock would cut your HP in half when you swap in. If you're a fire flying type. Or
Oh, 'cause that's the one that literally just sits out there and then hits whoever swaps in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not a big of a deal in VGC.
Yeah, because if you're only gonna last for one hit anyway, it's like, well, who cares?
Yeah.
Take it, and then I'll just kill you before you can hit me, and then if I'll get hit. Who cares if I was at full health or half health? If I was gonna die in one hit anyway.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff, in my opinion. Lugia, left in the dust.
That's what I was
no
gonna
one
ask.
gives a shit.
No one gives a shit about Lugia? Damn. I like Pokemon Silver.
Yeah, well, Lugia's cool. It's just that, like, it doesn't do as much. Your regenerator's really big, right? You get to heal every single time you swap out, but Lugia gets multi-scale, which cuts the damage of a hit that you take in half if you're at max health.
Only if you're at max health.
Yeah. So if any chip comes through, anything like that, you are taking full damage once again. And there's a bunch of other restricted legendaries that have the same ability or like the same ability but with a different name. But no one else has regenerator.
Damn. Gold, silver, crystal. Bird, dog. Why?
They didn't think up the concept of having a third legendary at the
I would say
time.
a crystal bird would have been sweet. I guess it would have just been like Articuno, though, right?
But they didn't add anything in Crystal.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't, right?
They just changed some things about the game, rebalanced it.
Because it was basically like the yellow of that generation, sort of. Because Pokemon Yellow was like red and blue updated, but then they also changed like where you get the starters and whatnot.
It had to be Pikachu.
Right. It was more close to the anime. Because you could also get Squirtle, Charizard, and Bulbasaur like the way you
somewhere
got
out
in the anime.
there. Yeah.
You find Squirtle causing mischief. You find Charmander out in the forest.
Yellow was really good.
I like Yellow.
But
I played Crystal too. That's why I was so curious about. Like, it was, I guess, the better of the games. You were able to do a lot more things. Was Crystal the only one you could choose your boy or girl, or could you do that in Gold and Silver too? I forget.
I don't know.
Because I had all 3 of them, but I just played Crystal the most. I guess my brother had all 3 of them, and I played Crystal the most.
Yeah, it was a Gen 2, I think, because I think it was Ethan and Lyra were their names for the default boy and girl characters. I don't know if they had in Gold and Silver, but I'm going to err on the side of yes.
Were the legendary dogs in Gold and Silver?
They were introduced, yeah.
So why the birds then? How'd you get Ho-Oh and Lugia? Were they
Those
also?
were the box art guys.
Right, but then how'd you get them in the game? What? The fuck you mean?
They're in there, I presume.
Ah, man, I
They're
don't...
probably like super late, like after the end of the main story or like near the Elite Four or something like that.
Yeah, I gotta look that up. I don't remember, because I remember it's almost like a quest to get the legendary dogs, and they have their sprites. You go and find them in the caves, and that's sort of like the big 3 of the game, like the legendary birds were in Gen 1. Well, they're not the box art. What the hell?
Yeah, they gave it to Suicune just because they didn't have another, legendary of that caliber.
Well, why didn't they give the other 2 dogs? That's what I'm saying. Why not Gold and Silver be Entei and Raikou? Or I guess the silver would have been...
They're still figuring shit out.
Yeah, whatever. But it's annoying.
I mean, Gen 3 was when they did the whole, like, okay, you got the 2 main guys and then the big boss. And then Gen 4 was like, okay, here's the 2 main guys and then their weird emo brother. And then
Your weird
Gen
emo.
5 was like, here's the 2 main guys and then there's the empty shell, and you can confuse them with the empty shell, and then you get, like, a super guy. X and Y, they had the 2 main guys and then the 3rd big guy. But they never made Z.
Did they never make Z?
Nope.
Were they supposed to? Was that like a lost Pokemon game?
Yeah. Then they did Sun and Moon, because in Sun and Moon you get like these little Zygarde cells, and that's when you can finally make like the ultimate complete Zygarde form, which he was supposed to be Pokemon Z. But since they didn't do that, they just threw it into Sun and Moon. And then they made Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Again, 2 big guys and then the big head honcho.
Right.
Sword and Shield, 2 big guys, big head honcho. And then DLC guys, where you get a guy riding a horse.
As a Pokemon?
Yeah.
Wait, the Pokemon is a guy riding a horse.
Well, it's a Pokemon riding a horse Pokemon.
That's pretty sweet.
Oh, he's a motherfucker. He's the most... it's... A lot of people claim that the horses are broken. So the guy is Calyrex, right? He's the big brain meme, except he's like a little grass deer.
Yes. Okay, I've seen him. You've shown him to me. Specifically because of the big brain meme, yeah.
Yeah, and then you help him get his old horse back, and what color was the horse? And you can be like, oh, it was like purple or white or something like that. And that gives you the really fast ghost one or the really slow, bulky ice one. And then you get the Reins of Unity back, and then he uses them to fuse by sitting on top of it. So and you get a lot of jokes of Calyrex using the Reins of Unity and just like sitting on other random Pokemon.
Just fusing with him like, you are my Steve.
Yeah. And then in Scarlet and Violet, same deal, 2 big guys and then a DLC guy. So technically not the same, because Sword and Shield had 2 big guys and then the big boss man and then the DLC guys. But Scarlet and Violet had 2 big guys, Koraidon, Miraidon, and then the DLC ended with Terapagos.
It's wild to think that Pokemon has DLC. Is it literally just downloadable content? Like you just download a whole extra part of the map and it's
a new map.
And it's not standalone. Like you can't just play the DLC. You have to have the game to attach to it?
Yes.
Interesting.
I actually prefer it to having a 3rd version like they used to do. Because with the 3rd version, you'd have to restart the game. And honestly, you're just playing the same shit over again.
Yeah.
For the most part, to get like a handful of new things, if there's any of those.
But that's the version differences are what kind of make it nice. Like in Yellow, and it's just like, oh, you actually are running around with Pikachu the whole time.
That's the only time they did that.
You're
Crystal doesn't have shit like that. Emeralds has a slightly different story with both of the
weather. I haven't really played past Gen 2, so I don't know.
Weather guys. I mean, also, like, that's the only times they really did 3rd versions, because then I guess also Gen 4. Gen 5 and 7, they did sequels, like, Black 2, White 2, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Oh, yeah, they were doing sequels for a while. Why? Just as that was their 3rd,
to keep the version differences.
Weird.
So you still have a reason to get one or the other.
I would say, yeah. Even if they update the whole game, yeah.
Yeah, and even in the DLCs, it's still like your selection is based on which base game you have. The one thing that's horseshit is if you buy the DLC, it doesn't work for both games.
Why?
That's really it's stupid. I think it's really bad. I hate that.
If it's going to be especially a digital download, because that's the whole thing I was getting about the sequels. Like, if you're going to make just, like, basically the updated version, why not make it just the 3rd game standalone? If you're going to make it a 2nd game, like X2, Y2, or whatever it was, it's like, why not just make those the same game if you're going to update everything and then still split people? And then also on the DLC, you're going to do the same thing. You could literally just make it Pokemon DLC, buy it, and then as you buy it, choose your whatever thing you bought it for.
Well, then that would still lock you out of one of them. But either way, it should work for both. That's stupid.
It would just be like choose your version install, I guess. So if you wanted to go and play Y on the same system and have the DLC, then you could still load it the same way. 'Cause you just have to install version Y, version X, or whatever.
Yeah.
It seems like that'd be a smart way, but
separate purchases are stupid, but money.
Nintendo's stupid.
But the general idea of it being DLC instead of a 3rd version, I'm with. Because restarting and playing like 80% the same game for a couple of new things at the end, it's like...
That's fair.
Yeah. It was cool if like that was the first one you got, though. Right? But...
Yeah. Well, that is about all the time we've got for this episode of CRT, the Big 5-0. Thank you for tuning in to us.
For our 1 year, episode 52...
5-2.
We are looking to take some questions and answer them. Not live. Recorded.
This is pre-recorded.
On the podcast.
Yeah, if you'd like to send any questions in, you can send them to crtproductions@gmail.com. I should probably also just make a Google form, so it'll be a little bit easier for people to access instead of having to actually send a whole-ass email. But we'll get on it. We'd like to answer questions that you have for us. If you'd like us to answer them anonymously, or if you'd prefer to have your name in it, however you'd like, just ask away. We'll be happy to answer.
Hell yeah.
Till the next time, though, I've been your host, Trashcan Jones.
I'm Breeeg.
Threw it back to you one last time. Thanks for tuning in.